What if the anxiety, overwhelm, and emotional burnout that you've been experiencing wasn't all in your head? You're not imagining it. But what if it was your body's biochemical cry for help? What if it's this magnesium whisper that's been ignored for far too long? Welcome back to Hopeful and Wholesome, and we're going to decode your body's wisdom and plug you back into the truth that your health is your power source. Today, we're talking about minerals, but really one specifically. And it's the mineral that I would say almost all of us, high performing, high frequency women, are desperately deficient in without even knowing it. And I think most just humans in general are deficient and we don't even know it. This is really about more than nutrition. This is about understanding your body. This is about body literacy, learning to read these subtle signs that your body is sending you so that you can reclaim your energy, you can sharpen your mind, and stabilize your body, stabilize your emotions from the inside out. So, I want to specifically talk about magnesium today and the mental and emotional and energetic chaos that happens when it's missing, because it's not just about your sleep. Right. And I think we talk about magnesium a lot in terms of sleep because it is the calming mineral, and we also talk about how many functions in the body that it plays a role in. And studies say it's anywhere from 400 to 600 different reactions in the body. I specifically want to talk about magnesium in the mind and how magnesium, this specific mineral, plays a part in your mental health and how your mental body is operating. So let's start with the truth bomb that should be headline news all the time. And actually, there's probably more than one way we can say this because there's different studies that say different things. Some studies that say up to 50% of Americans are magnesium deficient. I would dare say it is much more than that because there are other studies that show it 65 to 75%. There is data published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition that states 50%. This study was done a while ago. And like I said, there's other studies that have higher numbers. But the point is, that the majority of us are deficient in magnesium. And it's even higher in women who are juggling stress and parenting and entrepreneurship or a business and this to do list in our caffeine fueled life, right? This probably sounds familiar to you. So when we're running 90 miles a minute all day, every day, then we're even more depleted than the average everyday human. And as I mentioned before, magnesium is involved anywhere from 400 to 600, depending on what study you're looking at, different reactions in the body, many of which are tied directly to brain health, emotional regulation, and how your nervous system operates, nervous system balance, nervous system regulation. So if you're feeling anxious for no apparent reason, if you're feeling snappy or reactive to minor things that you think like I shouldn't be snapping things like that. If you feel chronically wired but tired, meaning your body is crying out for rest, but once you sit down to rest or lay down to rest, your brain is like right. That's how I feel. Mine's like a circus. So if you're feeling chronically wired but tired, mentally foggy, or even just disconnected from your creative flow, like you're kind of working through this fog or static that you can't sort through, there's a really good chance that your magnesium stores are bottoming out. You are deficient in not replenishing these. And this isn't a take a supplement and feel better situation. This is about understanding the energetic root behind why your system feels off. And magnesium, this is a mineral of restoration. It's the restorative mineral. And without it, your brain literally can't find peace. Your brain is not going to operate at its full capacity when your mineral stores are depleted. So let's first talk about magnesium and cortisol. Now, magnesium is this really powerful regulator of cortisol. It has a very strong relationship. Cortisol, as you might know, you probably know, is your body's main stress hormone. We hear about cortisol a lot. It's demonized a lot. This is a conversation for another episode to go into that. But the fact is, we do need cortisol. Cortisol is our get up and go hormone. It's the hormone that helps us wake up in the morning. So we do need cortisol. We need cortisol to get us through stressful situations, but perpetual chronic high cortisol is the issue. So, with magnesium, the relationship between magnesium and cortisol, in simple terms, low magnesium equals high cortisol and chronically high cortisol. When you're chronically low in magnesium, you're chronically high in cortisol. This means that your body is constantly in this stress loop. It's firing off adrenaline. It's disrupting your sleep. It's draining your energy reserves. There's a study. I've got studies for y'all. You know, I come with receipts. I come with the studies. The study published in Neuropharmacology showed that magnesium deficiency makes your brain's HPA axis more reactive. And what is your HPA axis? It is your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. So your hypothalamus is the part in your brain. Pituitary is a gland. It's like your master gland that kind of lords over the other glands in the body. It's like the manager. And then your adrenals, which we've already talked about a gajillion times. And your adrenals, if you're new to this show and you don't know what your adrenals are responsible for, well, they're responsible for a lot of things, but the way we know them is that they're responsible for your stress response because they emit cortisol, but they actually have a lot of other roles. They help with estrogen and progesterone production and other things. But the point is that a deficiency in magnesium makes your HPA axis more reactive, which means that you're quicker to feel overwhelmed and slower to feel calm. So, to say this another way, deficiency in magnesium is directly correlated to how you are able to regulate your nervous system and regulate your hormone signaling. So if your pituitary gland is like this master gland that's kind of managing other hormones, it is affecting our other glands. It is basically affecting every other gland in the body. Your pituitary has to also talk to your thyroid. Your thyroid's responsible for your metabolism, your energy, some other things too. Your thyroid has to talk to your adrenals, and those have to have a relationship. You also have to talk, there's a connection with your reproductive organs and your ovaries, right? There's so many connections here. Oh, the other thing we have to think about is our blood sugar, because cortisol and blood sugar go together. So you see there's like this chain reaction that happens when magnesium is deficient. So think about it. How many times have you told yourself, I'm just stressed, when really your body just didn't have the tools to calm down, to come down off that stress high? This isn't a mindset issue. You can't really mindset your way out of this. This is a mineral issue. This is a mineral mismatch. This is a mineral imbalance. So, mindset work is great, and mindset work is great for helping with a lot of things, but we also have to think about what's physiologically happening in the body. And magnesium is such a common thread around all of this: stress, nervous system regulation, all of this. So I want to zoom in even closer here because I want to dive into this connection with magnesium, anxiety, and depression. Anxiety and depression are rampant in our society. Whether you've been clinically diagnosed or not, whether you are medicated or not, it is rampant. And low magnesium has been directly linked to clinical symptoms of anxiety and depression. Now, there was a review study, a large review published in the journal Nutrients, called Nutrients, not too long ago, just a few years ago, that analyzed 18 studies and found a significant association between low magnesium levels and depression. Okay, that for me, I don't even need to look further than that. I got more for you, but I don't even need to look further than that. To look at that many studies, 18 studies, that's a lot of studies. And there is a significant, for them to say significant association between low magnesium levels and depression. Several of those studies also showed that supplementing with magnesium, actual magnesium supplementation, had a positive impact on mood, and especially or particularly in people who were already experiencing symptoms of depression. So that's first and foremost. There was another study from a couple years before that showed that taking specifically 248 milligrams of elemental magnesium daily for just 6 weeks, 248 milligrams for 6 weeks, significantly reduced symptoms of mild to moderate depression and anxiety, with results kicking in as early as 2 weeks. And I thought that was even more baffling. Results kicking in as early as 2 weeks. So 6 weeks of taking 248 milligrams of magnesium, and people felt the effects on their depression and anxiety. This is, I feel like all of this should be headline news. Why are we not talking about this more? With so many people, and this is not to shame anyone who's on medication. I just want to say that as a disclaimer. Like you got to survive and there's no shame around that. But I also know because I've worked with a lot of women who are on medication for anxiety, depression, or both that want to get off of it because there are side effects. I mean, let's be real. There are side effects and there's other things to think about. And I know a lot of women want to get off. They don't want to be on that forever because it affects a lot of other things in their body and their life. And if we were talking more about magnesium and this link between magnesium and depression, anxiety, how many less people would have to be put on medication? That's where my mind goes. Because magnesium acts as this natural calcium channel blocker in the brain. And so it prevents overstimulation of neurons and calms down these overexcited pathways that contribute to anxiety. That's how it works. So I have a whole episode. I'll put the link in the show notes if you want to go back. I have a whole episode about calcium shell and what happens when you have high tissue calcium. And it can go into your brain and it can go around the neurons and the nerves that connect your neurons in your brain and affect how your brain operates. And so with magnesium, magnesium and calcium have this very special relationship. So when you have magnesium, adequate amounts of magnesium, it's helping to prevent this overstimulation of neurons and calms down those overexcited pathways that contribute to anxiety. It also, another fact here, it also downregulates what are called NMDA receptors. And these are hyperactive in people that have any sort of mood disorder, PTSD, or any kind of neuroinflammation. So you're down regulating these receptors that can be firing on, fire, hyperactive, and you're helping to block the too much calcium in the brain. This is crazy to me that we're not talking about this more. And then there's another study. I mentioned this in another episode, but there's another study actually just a couple years ago that showed that magnesium supplementation led to a significant reduction in depressive scores among adults with depressive disorders, and that in some of these people, it worked better than actual medication. That's mind blowing to me. So when we're talking about magnesium, as I said, this isn't just about, oh, let's be calm and right, you take your magnesium soak, your magnesium bath, or you take it before bed. It's so much bigger than that. Especially when you think about the number of people, and especially in America, but around the world. And not everybody listening to this show is in America. In Western society, let's say that, in fast-paced Western society, so many people, I know it is higher in the United States than most everywhere else, but anyway, that are dealing with anxiety and depression and who are wondering if they need to be medicated, want to get off their medication, but there's, right? This is a big deal. So if you've ever been told that A, medication is your only option for anxiety and depression, or like a lot of women I've worked with, also a lot of women that have been told that their anxiety is just in their head, or it's just your hormones, or it's just getting older. Like, I love how so many physicians, and this isn't speaking about all of them, but there's a lot of them because, again, I've worked with their patients before. Physicians who are telling people that just because we get older, we have to be anxious. Like we're just supposed to accept the anxiety because we're getting older, or it's just your hormones. So just because we have hormones, we have to have anxiety. That's such a BS answer. I'm sorry. It's BS. I refuse to accept it. And I refuse for my clients to accept it. If you've ever been told that, and I'm telling you, I can count multiple women, at least 2 dozen that I've worked with that have been told that explicitly when they're going to their doctor and they're like talking about anxiety. Oh, it's just because you're getting older. Oh, it's just because you're close to perimenopause. Oh, it's just because. I'm sorry. That is not an answer. Then that's not a solution. So what if it's actually in your nervous system's mineral depletion? What if we can address this from looking at your body from this perspective of looking at your minerals? What if your brain chemistry is off because your body hasn't had the raw materials that it needs to feel safe? Right? This is what I mean when I talk about body literacy. Mental health isn't just emotional, it's physical, it's chemical, it's energetic. There's so many layers to this, which is why when I have these episodes talking about nutrition, wellness. It's never just one thing. It's never just, oh, let's talk about the physical body. Let's talk about the emotional. It's all interconnected. And so we cannot compartmentalize things here. We cannot compartmentalize how magnesium operates in the body and the aspects of the body that it affects, right? And for high performing women who are managing big missions and big emotions and big output, this matters. This matters in a huge way. You cannot lead your business or your life or your family or your career from a depleted foundation. And really and truly, magnesium is at the base of that foundation. I truly believe that. The other thing I want to talk about, and then I'll talk about some best practices. I want to tie this into also emotional stability because there's this emotional component. Like I said, we cannot compartmentalize the body. We have to talk about all the aspects. So we've talked about the physical, we've talked about the mental. Magnesium is also essential for the production of GABA, which is your brain's main inhibitory neurotransmitter. So GABA is what helps you wind down. It helps you relax. It helps you sleep. Some people take GABA for sleep, like with a sleep supplement. So it might have GABA, magnesium, maybe some other things in it. So you have to have GABA because without your brain or without it, your brain is go, 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 go. Like it has there's no off button and there's no slow down button. It's also another really important thing about GABA is that it's also important in the conversion or involved in the conversion of tryptophan to serotonin. Now, serotonin, you've probably heard of this one before, it's a neurotransmitter, is your feel good neurotransmitter. So, this is what keeps your mood balanced and your outlook positive. And serotonin, low levels of serotonin, is where we get into these depressive states, right? So, a lot of times when we're looking at people who are dealing with depression, we're looking at a lot of imbalances and dysfunction around these parts and how serotonin is being converted, how it's being used. Maybe there's not enough of it. So, magnesium is directly involved in your serotonin levels, and your serotonin is your feel good neurotransmitter, right? That's helping keep your mood stable. So when you're low in magnesium, your brain literally doesn't have enough of the raw material that it needs to create this calm state. So if you've been waking up at 3 a.m. and you can't fall back asleep, if you've been feeling energetically or emotionally fragile or disconnected, like your emotions are kind of all over the place, if you've been experiencing PMS or like mood swings related to your cycle that feel extreme, like extreme mood swings. I had an episode maybe a couple episodes ago, and I was talking about this. Now, two of my clients within the same week both told me, literally, this is their words, that they turned into a raging bitch during the specific part of their cycle. So this is an issue, right? With the moods and kind of the unstable moods, the crazy mood swings. Magnesium is directly related to that. So it's really time that we look deeper than this surface level stress management piece. We have to go deeper. We have to look deeper at this. Now, this isn't to say, and I know so many women that come to me, that I have conversations with, or that work to me, they just feel like their body is broken. Like it's just not cooperating. My mind and my body are not on the same page. I'm telling it what to do and it's not listening. It's not that. It's not that your body is totally broken and that it's there is still hope, pun intended. It's really just you're missing the resources that it needs. Your body's missing the resources that it needs to help you feel like you. And so when we're looking at symptoms, I'm going to say this again. We're looking at symptoms. We cannot look at this from a one-dimensional place. You just can't. We have to look deeper. We have to look from a bird's eye view, taking a broad perspective. We have to look at all the things. And magnesium is one of those that is affecting you on every level: mental, physical, emotional, all of this. So, what are some best practices for magnesium, or kind of how do we remedy this, right? Now, we know, I think you know by now. If you listen to this often, then you know. If not, then now you do. You're about to. That all magnesium is not created equal. And when we're talking about mental health and emotional regulation, there are a few ways that are recommended, a few forms that are recommended. and a few that are not. Magnesium glycinate will always be my first and foremost. And magnesium glycinate, or it might come in BIS glycinate. This is highly absorbable. It's bioavailable, and this is one that is best absorbed by your body, and it's going to be calm on your digestive system. It's great for anxiety, for sleep, and just overall nervous system support, right? And I really feel like everyone listening to this, at least, you should be getting at least 500 milligrams. That's what I'm just going to say it. Everybody should be getting at least 500 milligrams. I know that study said 248 was the specific amount that people felt the difference, and you might feel a difference at that point. But I really think that when you're a high performing woman and you are killing it at life, and then our stores are getting depleted faster than the average human. So I'm going to say you should be getting at least 500 milligrams. So glycinate is the first one I want to mention. There's also one called magnesium threonate. And so there's some mixed, I don't want to say information, there's some mixed opinions in the expert field here on magnesium threonate. So magnesium threonate there's some studies that came on not too long ago that claimed that magnesium is the only type that crosses the blood-brain barrier. So that this is the kind that's really good for cognition and focus and brain fog. But then there's some other studies that have come out that say that really magnesium threonate is no better than glycinate. So I'm not going to tell you which one is right and which one is not right, because there's conflicting information there. I don't think you can go wrong in either way. I don't want to say one is better than the other, really. I really don't, because the studies there's not enough definitive findings from studies on either side to say that. So I would say either of those, the threonate or the glycinate, could be great. There's another one called magnesium taurate, taurate, taurate. And this one apparently helps with the heart-brain connection, emotional resilience, and blood pressure regulation. But as I said, I think that any of these three are fine. I don't think any of them are far superior. I typically just say glycinate because it's the easiest to find, in my opinion, than the others, but any of those will work. Now, ones that you want to avoid, unless you need something to help with constipation. If you can't poop, here's where you go. You go to magnesium oxide or you go to magnesium citrate. Do not take those as a supplement, because you are going to absorb maybe 30% of it, 40% maybe, right? You're not going to absorb that much. And it's just going to make you poop. So that's what those are for. And it's frustrating because, like, I've had clients, they're like, oh yeah, I take the Calm, like the powder. This isn't to blast the brand, but I'm just saying it's like the powder that you might mix with water, and it's like supposed to help you calm. It's magnesium citrate. Now, they might have changed. I haven't looked at it in a while, so don't come for me if I'm wrong now, but it used to be just magnesium citrate. And they're like, I take the Calm. I just don't know if it's really working. I'm like, well, you're probably very regular, this is great, but you're not absorbing it. So we want to watch out for the magnesium oxide or citrate and try one of the other three forms I just talked about. So here's another way I want to talk about rebuilding magnesium. I should have probably said this first, because I am always food first, but we're talking about getting it from food. Let's talk about strategy here, food strategy. First, we want whole foods rich in magnesium. These are things like leafy greens, nuts and seeds, especially pumpkin seeds. Avocados are a great source of magnesium. Dark chocolate, yes, dark chocolate. I'm for real on this, but it's actual dark chocolate, like not like a Nestle candy bar. You want to go for the dark chocolate that's really at least like 70% cacao, like the dark stuff. It's like the pure dark stuff is going to be the good source of magnesium. So that's how we do it with the food. Supplement, right? So we're going to say, let's say three parts here, three parts of this. So that's the food, right? So starting with food. Second, the supplements that I've already talked about. 200 to 400 is a pretty common dose. I really think that most people need at least 500, but if you really want to know, this is where I use the HTMA, or the hair tissue and mineral analysis, with my clients to see exactly what's going on, to see what we need to support specifically, right? If you want a specific number. So that's always best. And then the third part of that is to be careful, mindful, intentional with what's depleting you. And we want to reduce that. So things that deplete you, if you think about what's depleting you and your energy, it's also depleting your magnesium stores, right? That's just a direct correlation. Things like stress, excess sugar, excess alcohol, excess caffeine, even excess sweating can wipe out your magnesium stores. Alcohol, there's a lot of studies around alcohol and how alcohol affects your magnesium stores. So I'm just saying. So if you're hustling hard, if you're skipping meals, if you're drinking lattes all day, if you're skipping on sleep, if you're drinking more nights of the week than you're not, if you're eating a lot of processed stuff with sugar, like all of these are going to be affecting your magnesium stores. And your balance of magnesium in your body is going to leak very fast. Now, this isn't about perfection, right? This is about understanding what's happening, what's going on in your body. And it's about building this partnership with your body so we can address it from this inside out perspective, from this inside out way. So if you're trying to fix your mindset and your stress with the affirmations, which are great, y'all, but we have, again, it's this multifaceted approach. It's not going to be just one thing. Or you're pushing through your brain fog with another coffee or espresso, right? What you really need is to replenish what your body is missing. And this is your invitation. This episode is your invitation to pause and listen deeper to your body. Listen to what it's telling you. Because mental fatigue and mood swings and the anxiety spirals and the Eeyore days, right? When we feel depressed. Maybe you don't feel depressed all the time, but you have those days where you feel like Eeyore. They're not random. They're energy leaks. And magnesium deficiency is often just the start. And if you're experiencing any of these energy leaks, I can almost guarantee you that your magnesium is off. So I want to leave you with this. If you're curious whether this is your missing piece, this is your missing link, this is your energy leak, I have a free quiz for you that I want you to take. So I want you to go in the show notes, and it's called the Energy Leak Locator Quiz. And it's designed to help high-performing women like you uncover the hidden ways that your body's leaking energy and what to do about it. And it could be your minerals, but it might be something else. So go take the quiz. It's free. It literally takes less than 2 minutes. It's just a handful of questions. And you're going to walk away with custom insights on what's draining you and what your next big step is to plug the leaks, to repair the leaks, and to reclaim your vitality and your energy that you've been missing out on. So go to the link in the show notes and make the commitment to yourself to bring your energy back online. It's starting now. Like today's the day. Go start now. And just remember that your body is brilliant and your body is sending you the signs and the signals. And also remember that your energy is sacred. For me, it's like time, right? Time is the thing we never get back. It's also your energy. Once it's gone, it's gone. It's sacred. And your mental health, remember that your mental health is not a separate system. It's the sum of how deeply supported your body feels. And so let magnesium be the first act of devotion to yourself today. Let this be the starting point. Because even if you never address any other minerals in your body and you only address magnesium, your life can change. I'm not kidding. I'm not saying that to be dramatic. So let magnesium be the first step. And let this be maybe the first of many steps in really owning that your energy is sacred and that your body is brilliant and you want to protect it and support it. Because no matter if you have a business or you have a career or you're running your family, whatever it is, you are a leader. If you're listening to this, you're a leader in whatever it is that you're doing. And you cannot be a leader if your body is running on fumes, if your body is falling apart at the seams, if your energy is leaking constantly day in, day out. It's like I said, for me, energy is like time. Once you lose it, you don't get it back. You don't get it back. Now we can repair things, but your energy is sacred. So treat it like it is. Start with magnesium. This is a great place to start. And until next time, I hope that you stay rooted in the wisdom of your body and that you come back to learn more about your body wisdom and really embodying this part of you and this body literacy. And I'll see you next time.